Hey, this is Kelly from the Bricks, and you're watching The Roosta Show.
In the garden, he fell to his knees. The time had come, and he knew the sacrifice just had to be paid for you and me. It's the final hour. It's the final hour before the cross and the victory. His soul was so grieved he could hardly stand the pain. As he prayed to the Father, please take this cup from me. Oh no, it's the final hour. It's the final hour before the cross and the victory. It's the final hour.
Right. Welcome to the Rooster Show. This is Rooster Jones, and I'm really stoked to have today a band that was actually the first band that I've ever seen live, the Altar Boys. Saw them in Moreno Valley, California. It was an awesome show, and I've been a fan ever since of these gentlemen. Today we're gonna have the lead singer Mike Stand with us. And hello,
Hey, how you doing?
doing awesome.
Thank you for interviewing me. Thank you for being so patient and everything. I appreciate it. And
Definitely.
you're interested in the Altar Boys and everything in between.
You were my
So,
first show. First concert I've ever been to in Moreno Valley, California, at Calvary Chapel,
Green
which was
Valley.
at Moreno Valley High School.
Yeah.
I was there.
When I went up and sang for the principal,
Yeah,
right?
yes, sir.
Yeah, I remember that. That was fun. So how am I sounding here? Does this sound good? Does this work for you? Want something different?
Actually, it sounds great. Yeah, it sounds great.
Oh, good. Yeah, I remember that gig. That was
You do,
fun.
huh?
Kind
Yeah.
of being a wise guy with the principal there, but he was cool about it. Right? I
Yeah,
mean, who's this yuck coming up here and kind of getting in my space here? So, but, it was all in good fun and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. That's
So
so great, man.
what's your, what's DA? Is that your initials for your real name or, I mean,
No, DA just means is for the
oh,
Rooster
duh, I
Show.
thought so, but I didn't know. So why
Yeah,
do you call
but
yourself the Rooster? You
yeah,
know how important
Rooster.
You know how important the Rooster is to Sun Records, right?
No,
Oh
no,
yeah,
no. What?
originally with the design of Sun Records, Sam Phillips had a rooster in the middle, but they were
Oh,
on 33. Yeah, he wanted a little rooster like the dawning of the sun. And then when
ah,
they went to 45s, he had to cut out the rooster because it cut out the hole in the middle. He was really bummed. Lost his rooster. I
darn
kind of
it,
figured
man.
it were tied to Sun or something like that because yeah, the rooster, a lot of the Sun records they have it with the rooster, on it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I
Well,
That's cool.
I'm a Sun aficionado, so well, that's cool.
So
You know about the Altar Boys. That's
yeah,
neat. What a special group.
yeah. I had a Gut Level Music was one of my first vinyls.
One of your
And
first what?
one of my first vinyls was Gut
Oh,
Level
really?
Music. Yeah,
That's
I
a good
got it
record.
at Superfest over in San Bernardino.
Yeah, was that like a Greg Laurie thing or something? Wasn't that Greg
It was,
Laurie?
I think so. It was a
Yeah.
couple day event, 2 day event, and it started one day and then went to 2 days and then went to 3 days. It was over in San Bernardino, over the Redlands, I guess, over there, and
Oh,
out in the boomies. There
yeah,
was
I think that
tons of
was.
contemporary Christian artists and stuff there, but I
I think, yeah, that's
yeah,
cool.
it's
I think,
awesome.
yeah. So, man, you just tell me where to begin. I mean, so
Well,
wait, before we go, where are you? What state and city you in?
I am right next to you. I'm in Idaho,
Yeah,
Twin
right
Falls,
next to me.
Idaho.
Oh, that's cool. We're in Idaho.
You're in Idaho?
No,
Oh,
no, I
Twin
said,
Falls. Twin Falls.
okay, when did you move there?
I've been here for probably 20 years or so.
Oh, that is a great
I
area.
left California in
Lucky you,
'98.
man. Smart,
Yeah.
smart. Yeah.
I do miss it. There's things I miss. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
what's been happening out there has just been devastating. It's very sad.
Unbelievable.
I know.
And
So sad.
everybody, it's kind of, even though it's far away from me, it's kind of put a little bit of a, for lack of a better term, dark cloud on everyone because, we're all looking at this going, the closest a fire has been to my house been about a mile, but it could have happened any place in Southern California. Um, you know, except for those that have already burned, which mine burned about 2 years ago. So, but had someone lit a fire by one of our homes. We have homeless people were lighting fires all the time around here.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's beyond catastrophic. And
Yes, it is.
we're doing everything we can to help people out. And
It's good.
so just hopefully we all at the very least learn something from this.
That would be nice. That'd be nice.
Make sure it doesn't happen again.
Yes, sir.
So, anyways, yeah.
Well, well, tell me, how was the band Altar Boys created?
Well,
Obviously, God created it, but
yeah. Well, of course, the Altar Boys, was formed from a desire to use our musical gifts and abilities to share the good news of Christ and to encourage the believer in their faith. You know, we were all of us were musicians. Steve,
Rick
Jeff,
Alba.
yeah, and Rick. Well, Rick wasn't first in the band. It was Ron Baca
Oh,
for a year. And we wanted to use them, align our gifts, what God would have us do, with something that was really positive and real.
yeah, that's awesome. So, do you feel that since I mean you got that newer album out, do you feel that your dynamics have changed for the band since you started till now? That's not on here,
Well,
but I kind of felt that would
well,
be a good question.
No Substitute was a miracle record. That was something we started back in 1991 and never finished. That's when Mark Robertson came in the band. So it was Mark,
Ah,
Jeff, Steve, and I. And we'd started it, and then Mark moved to Nashville. Steve, at the time, I think moved to Nashville or someplace else. And so we decided to take a hiatus and left everything unfinished. And by some miraculous, just things that happened in my lives in 2017, we revisited those tapes and decided,
hmm.
now's the time to finish it. Had we not had my son, who has just excellent recording skills, it wouldn't have happened. But
Hmm.
he made it happen, made the transfer from analog to digital, and did the overdubs and mixed it and mastered it. And we think it's our best sounding record, our best sounding record by far, and in many ways our best. It was really the way we wanted to in the Altar Boys, and fortunately we were able to do that. Not many bands can. But
Yeah.
it's good. It's not B songs. These are A songs. These are songs many of them we were doing back in the day. And God, what a blessing. What a what a great thing to have happen to it. What that would be, it was 26 years after the fact. It's a
Hmm.
miracle. Complete
Yeah, it
miracle.
is.
And great process. Great to have Steve. And of course Mark was recording his bass overdubs in Nashville and sending them out to us. But to
Hmm.
put the whole thing together and have Low Fidelity Records help us in Frontline and everybody involved, Ronnie Lara doing the art. It was a team effort. It really, really was. And we rose to the occasion and we did it. Boy, did
Hey,
we do it.
yeah, you did.
Yeah,
So
yes, it
tell
was
me about
amazing.
your life before the Altar Boys a little bit.
So, let's just start the high school years. I was quite involved in track and field and was a long distance runner actually
Yeah,
in high
my
school.
son too.
Really?
Yeah, he's
Wow.
a track and fielder.
Oh, that's awesome.
He
Well, I
loves
ran
it.
a 4:19 mile. I ran a 9:10 2 mile. I did good enough to get a scholarship to Arizona State for a year, but
Wow.
decided that, I was good, but not great. Now, my buddy Andy Clifford, who I ran with my teammate, he went on to Berkeley and he ran a 406 mile in high school and he did quite well, tried out for the Olympics. So then after high school, I kind of got lost, basically. I kind
Ah,
of got lost up until like 1979. And that's when I started dating my wife of 40 years. And
wow.
also I decided become a follower of the carpenter from Nazareth. I started going to a church in Fullerton. My cousins Jeff and Bill Crandall had invited me. Of course, Jeff became the drummer or was the drummer for the Altar Boys. Then things started to change for the better when that happened. I had direction and really I had developed this crazy work ethic. It just Pam landed on me. And I was driven. I had a purpose. I had a new life.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's good, man. Definitely when you find the Lord, you get that strength and that love, that unconditional love, man. That just is a driving force.
Yeah, I just had a
So
purpose. I had a sense of
yeah.
like, bam, I hit the road running and I've never really stopped. I've always had this crazy work ethic. Sometimes good, sometimes I don't know when to quit.
That's funny. So the formation of the band changed. When did uh, Rick Alba,
Alba.
is he still a part of it?
No. So forming the
I know
band,
he went off on his own and did a couple of his own albums, which were
yeah,
excellent albums.
yeah. Rick's an amazing artist. He brought so much to the group. So forming the Altar Boys was intentional. Jeff Crandall and I, as I mentioned, were cousins, and we've been playing together for a couple years under the moniker of Image.
Hmm.
And that was with his brother and a friend, and we kept that going for about a year and a half. And some members came in and out. At one point, we had Ken Tamplin from Shout.
Ah, wow, the guitarist
Yeah,
guy.
yeah, yeah. We played
Yeah,
together.
he's awesome.
He was young. He was hyper, man. He was good, but it
I
was
can see
like
that actually.
we were like in different places musically. So
Yeah, he's more rocker, like hair rocker almost.
yeah, but
Yeah,
he remains a friend, and yeah, he's
wonderful.
cool playing with him.
That was cool.
So and he was young. He was 18 or 17, something like that. So in the
Wow.
spring of 1982, new wave and punk rock were really a force in Southern California and breaking pretty good. My brother was playing drums for a band called the Lifesavers. He started late in
I love Michael Knott.
1981, and it's through him that I met Undercover and in a lot of different groups. So I'm like, yeah, this is music's great. The people around it are great. And Jeff and I moved forward and said, let's just try something new musically. So we put out the word, we're looking for a bass player. Our first bass player was Ron Baca. And then we found Steve Pinner and we were off to the races. First
Yeah.
gig was in July 1982. And from then on out, we were playing like 10 gigs a month. I mean,
Wow.
yeah, it just happened. And
That's
it was
awesome.
unpretentious. And at first, I didn't want to be the lead singer. I didn't want to be the songwriter. I
Oh
didn't
my
want to be
goodness,
the.
I couldn't imagine it any other way.
Well, we auditioned singers, we auditioned people, and it just fell through. And somewhere along the line, it was decided I was going to go ahead and sing because no one else wanted to.
Yeah.
And I was kind of had a knack for songwriting, so I'm like, okay, I guess I'll write songs.
That's
And then,
something that I wanted to say to you, man. You are amazing at songwriting. I mean, you are definitely gifted. It's
well,
also
it's
so
not
catchy
easy
to
for
sing,
me.
you
It's
know.
real. Yeah, I
Just
appreciate that.
I
Uh,
can't stop it. I can see the whole gut level music album like I know it by heart now. I mean, it's like I just love it. It's embedded in my soul. It's actually my son is a fan of you guys too, and he loves
no
everything you
way.
guys put
That's what
out.
I like to hear. Younger generation.
He's
That's
24 years old. And
well. Wow, he likes
yeah,
to see altar boys.
he loves you guys. So
Oh, that's so cool. Well, I'll be honest with you. I was kind of late to the game. I never saw myself as a songwriter. I could kind of write melodies, but I always thought it was for other people. And it's not always come easy for me. It's not
mhm.
easy for me. So, melodies, coming up with hooks, but putting it all together with lyrics and everything, it, some people write songs in 20 minutes. It can be labor intensive for me, a lot of editing, but I
Yeah.
managed to get the job done.
Yes, you
I, s-
did.
I finish what I start.
Well,
That's
finally, at
kind of
least with the new album,
That's
finally.
my worth ethic, I start it, I'm gonna finish it. And if
Yes,
it's
sir.
not left, and if it's undone, it's gonna bother me until I do finish it.
Yep. What were your initial musical goals as the band?
Our
Partially,
initial
probably said
goals,
it, but
uh, uh, since the inception, our goals were to just when people came to see us, there was no doubt what we were trying to communicate.
yeah, of course.
And there's hope and salvation, forgiveness through Jesus Christ, and that never changed. Even though we became, and that became more focused on the album No Substitute. Early songwriting had to start somewhere. So
Yeah,
the songs were very simple, and as you grow in your knowledge of the Lord and life, things kind of changed and they evolved, but we always kept it focused on the gospel and the truth of the gospel and tried to communicate that as best we could.
that's good. So, how did you meet up? How was this actually formed? Like, how did you guys meet up? You and your
Well, it was organic in a lot of ways. I mean, Jeff and I were playing together for, like I said, for a couple years,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
and out of bands, like I explained, and we just simply put the word out. Okay, we're looking for a bass player, and tried a couple guys, and first was started with Ron Baca, and then put the word out for a guitar player. Was introduced to Steve, and then in the middle of the first record, about a year later, Ron left and Rick came in, and Rick really brought a lot to the table.
Yeah,
He
he
brought some
he looked
great
like he brought a
songs,
lot of energy to it.
great bass player, great
Yeah.
singer. He wrote "Life Begins at the Cross," "Does God's
Oh,
Heart
he wrote that one.
Cry?"
I love it.
Yeah, that's Rick's, and several of them on Both Against the Grain and Help Me Write Forever Mercy. So he's a great writer and amazing bass player.
Got you to want to play music, to write music, to play guitar.
I'm sorry, what was the
What
question?
got you to want to write music and play
And music.
guitar and all that?
Well, I play guitar since I was 5. It's something I've
Five.
always done. Yeah, I started with
Wow.
acoustic, banging away. My
Oh yeah,
brother
yeah.
taught me. My brother, my family's very musical. My brothers played. My oldest
Oh
brother played drums. My youngest brother played drums. I haven't played drums for a while. My second oldest brother was quite a great blues guitar player. He taught me most of the chords and things like
yeah.
that. And what he'd make me do is I'd sit and play chords and play a blues rhythm, and he'd practice, and I just sit there and play the rhythm. I'm like, after a half hour, I want to stop, and I stopped. He said, "No, you don't stop," and he kicked me. Keep playing. Now, songwriting came a little later. I
Uh,
always wrote little
that's
jingles. It's
cool.
not anything I really saw myself doing. I didn't think I had what it take to become a songwriter, and in the Altar Boys, it was kind of by default because we were looking for songwriters. I didn't think I was good enough to be a songwriter, and we couldn't find anybody. So I just, okay, I'll try. I'll try to sing. And before I knew it, this led to that. I was like, I can do this. Wow. I mean, I come up with a tune. I'm like, I can't believe I just wrote this. Oh, you
It's a
found
good feeling when you come up with a
okay.
song and you get it out, what's inside, get it written out. It's such a
Well, at
rewarding
first they came
feeling.
fast because
Yeah.
I was like, I can do this. I
Yep.
just cry. This night, I can't believe I wrote this, even though the early ones were very simple, but then as it continued on through the When You're a Rebel record and Gut Level Music, and by that time I was like, okay, I can do this. So
Yep.
let's get the job done and do what we have to do. And like I said, a lot more work is, and all were inspired in different ways. A lot of times I just sit down and have my guitar. Okay, what this start with something and come up with a little, I question it, or GLM, just a little line, and then build it from there. And
That's awesome.
it
It's
just
really cool
happened.
to hear about your brother being in Lifesavers. I've
Yeah,
always
man, it
been
wasn't for him. The
my first
Lifesavers were it.
alternative band that I
Yeah.
really fell in love with was Shaded Pain by Lifesavers Underground. And
Well, yeah, that came
I
a
love
little later, but have you heard their
that
first
did.
record? You heard Us Kids? You never heard
I've
of Us
pretty
Kids?
much heard most all their albums,
Us
but
Kids?
what Us Kids?
Us
No,
Kids
I've
is their
never.
first one. That is a great record. That's the one with
Ooh, I
Chris
never heard
Wimmer,
it.
Mark Kershak, and Mike Knott. Mike Knott when he first came in at 18 years old. I mean, my brother, I think it's the one with the motorcycle on the front. Is that Shaded? I don't know what that
That's
one.
Shaded Pain. That's what.
That's the one my brother loves. He loves, and I think Bye Bye Colors on that one. I
Yeah,
think.
Bye Bye
Yeah,
Color. Yep.
yeah, that's
Jordan.
my brother. Yeah, so but that's a little later. I would encourage you to look at Us Kids. It
I
was much more gospel oriented. Not that the later aren't, but it was more direct.
yeah.
And in fact, if I may kind of go ahead, I don't know if you know or not, but they're making a documentary on bands like Altar Boys, Lifesavers, Chosen Ones, Undercover,
Hmm.
Lifters, called Us Kids. It's a documentary right now by Tom Zeller and Chad Ashton and John Smaby. It's in production. And the
Wow.
77s and DA are included, but
Oh, Steve.
along the line
Yeah.
of the movies that were released about the early Amy Grant and everybody
Yeah.
else. Same thing. We were left out of it, a lot of us bands, but there's only so much you can cover in an hour and a half. So we decided that we needed to do something here about that. So they're currently in production on that, and so you're going to find out more about what happened the very special time in the 80s when God
Oh,
moved
there's
in a
so many brilliant
way.
bands came out. Boom. Like the 80s and the 90s were just explosive.
It just was
Flock
amazing.
14, a band that no one even knows about. Have you heard of them?
Yes,
Flock 14?
yes,
Oh,
yes.
they were amazing. I love that album.
Uh, yeah, it just was a great time where God moved in a certain way, and it- it's going to be documented. And what it's going to look like exactly, how popular it's going to be, we don't know, but it's documented. There it is, and it's something worth documenting because it was an amazing time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Incredible, great energy, unpretentious. You'd just pass out 500, 1,000 flyers and 500 kids to show up in a gymnasium at the local church or high school for a dance and have fun. I mean, without any cell phones, right?
That's amazing. What's one of
Right? No
your
cell
most,
phones being held up. Yeah, so
yeah,
it's
that's
amazing.
the part I love.
Yeah.
What's one of your most memorable experiences?
Uh, the bands in the early years, we had so much fun together, particularly in that era between 1982, 1985, with a lot of camaraderie. I mean, we would do dances and benefits together. We'd have lifesavers undercover, altar boys, lifters, or the choir, and on one
Why'd
bill.
I wonder, man? I love that album.
And
The
we would,
Choir,
you know,
great
it was
album.
it had a healthy competition, and we'd do things like knots and festivals and Christmas benefits. And this movement was huge, but we had a real good camaraderie, and things kind of changed through the years. People moved on. I think by default, the Altar Boys kind of kept going, moving through it in a lot of ways, but that was really fun. And we know we love playing Knott's Berry Farm on New Year's Eve, particularly the John Wayne Theater, and of course Cornerstone, Ichthus Festival. And just the different people we meet throughout the country. We were amazed, the first time we went to Cornerstone in '84 that anybody
Is
ever
that
heard
still
of us.
going, by the way?
No, that's stopped 2005, six, I think, something like that.
Yeah, they used to have a
Now they've
lot of
got an
great bands.
offshoot. Now they've got an
Crucified
offshoot.
and
Yeah,
yeah,
oh yeah, oh, unbelievable.
that's one of my favorite bands still.
Oh, we played with them. We love playing with those guys because we were
Oh,
in the
they're
Midwest quite a bit in Porterville and Exeter and Fresno. And whenever we went up there, we always tried as much as possible to play the Crucified. I mean, they were way edgier. They were the
they
real
were
deal.
intense.
They were
I
the
love
real
them.
deal. They
I
were the
guess
real
who I
deal.
talked to yesterday was Roger Dale Martin of Vengeance Rising.
Oh, wow.
I had him on the show.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was a great show.
He's quite a character.
He's great. I love him. It was great to hear
Yeah.
his testimony.
Yeah, 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 very, very cool. They were huge. They're, pretty hardcore. A lot of people called us punk rock, but we were really small P punk rock compared to these guys. These guys were taking
Those,
it
yeah,
to
they
another
were
level.
definitely that doom metal and thrash,
Yeah,
and which
yeah,
honestly kind of got me really loving it because I was never much into hair bands. I respect them. I like
yeah,
Holy Soldier.
yeah.
Striper.
No,
They're
of
good.
course.
Yellow
Yes,
Black Attack, but
yes, of course.
but it's I kind of almost I just skipped it, went past them, and went right to the metal, that deep, dark, that intense metal. Like Mortification, Living Sacrifice, and all that good
Yeah,
stuff.
that's the heavy stuff.
Oh, I love it. I just
Oh,
I,
that's
I
great.
just
Well,
am
you
so
know what? God
impressed on
used it.
how they do their music, how fast they play, and the intensity is. Whew, I can't do it. I
Yeah,
love to write music
I
myself.
can't
I
do it
play
either.
guitar.
That's why I didn't.
I keep it simple, stupid. You know what I
I,
mean? I
well,
do.
I try to.
That's
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes simple is the
simple
best.
chords. G, C, D, A.
Well, we got a little bit beyond that, but we should have kept it more simple and just followed what the Ramones did, right? They kept it like they were the same
Yeah,
all over.
no leads, no nothing. It was just they were really simple. That's one thing I was always impressed about the Ramones. No leads.
Not very much. Yeah.
Yeah, I think probably one or two songs.
I don't know if Johnny
Not
could
even.
play much more than he was doing, but that's
Exactly.
okay. It doesn't matter, does
It
it?
didn't need it.
Yeah, I didn't need it. No, they were
It didn't
something
need it.
else. Some
Yeah,
people
they
have
were
said that
amazing.
they were probably the most influential band, period, even over the Beatles. Some people have said that, some
I can
critics,
see that.
In a way, you think about it, it's really possible. And
The different job.
they wanted to be power pop stars, is what they
Yeah,
wanted it to be.
all the different
Oops,
genres I
missed it
talk
by
to.
that much.
Yeah, all the genres I deal with on the show, that they all say that. Oh yeah, the Ramones were inspiring for us, and this and
Oh
this and that.
yeah. Oh
It's like,
yeah.
okay, boy,
I think
doesn't matter. All the it's crazy.
Kinnear saw them probably 30 times. He saw them back earliest is like 1976 here in Orange County. He stood right in front of Johnny Ramone's Marshall Stacks, and he was like, I will never forget it. It was the most awesome thing. He was so loud.
That's
So,
amazing. That's so cool.
yeah, yeah.
So, if you could describe your music to somebody that's never heard it before, what would you say?
If I could describe our
Kind of
music,
interesting
that's a
question.
good question. If I could describe our music, what would I say? Well, I would say power pop punk. How's that for an alliteration?
I can see that
You
actually.
know, we like Husker Du, we like the Replacements, the Ramones, the Clash. Some people have labeled us punk, but not like bands you mentioned. We had
Yeah, oh
punk
yeah.
influences, but we had the pop thing going on, and not it's just I think it was a better fit for us. I think had we been a pure punk rock band, I don't think I didn't have that kind of voice. So I think the way we were was what we were supposed to be, and I
It
was glad
fits
for it.
perfect.
It
I
fit
think,
perfect. It worked.
yeah.
Like I said, I didn't ever see myself as a songwriter. So those are the songs that came out. Early on, we did Oh Nancy and some kind of punk, When You're Rebels, kind of punk rock.
Mhm.
Kind of smoothed it out a little bit with some of the later records. Except for Heart Lost in Nowhere was really it's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
And then in No Substitute, we cranked it back up again and left it where we really wanted to leave it.
Mhm.
So,
So, are you currently working on any new material?
well, most of the stuff, I don't know if you know, I've been playing more rockabilly these days. I don't,
Ah,
well, yeah,
cool.
about
So, you
15
have
years
a
ago.
total separate project?
Yeah, Altar Boys are not together, really. We did that record, one-off record in 2018, but we're all friends, but we just, are doing other things. So about 2010, I met a guy named John Hollings, walking through my church parking lot with a Ramones shirt on, and I thought I had to get to know this guy with a Ramones shirt on. And turns out my wife and his wife were already friends, so we hit it off and started playing together. And he says, "Mike, your music has a lot of twang to it. You ever thought about Billying some of your Altar Boys songs out?" I'm like,
I can actually see it.
uh, no, yeah. So, anyways, this led to that, and we did a couple gigs together. He plays upright bass. Actually, Johnny can play just about anything he wants to play. He's one of the most musical guys I've ever met. Musical like Rick Alba and Mark
Mhm.
Robertson. Those kind of guys that just have a certain knack, the underlying musical ability that you can't manufacture. You know. So we thought, well, we're doing building up Altar Boys tunes. We'll just call it the Altar Billies. And we weren't thinking that we would play, but once or twice a year or something, no big deal. Well,
Mhm.
the band kind of took on a life of itself. So we've released 3 records and a lot of
Wow.
singles. Yeah, we got a whole YouTube channel. In fact, it's the band in many ways is more popular than the Altar
Altar
Boys.
Billies?
Yeah. And
Wow.
so we found a knack. We write these train songs. I found a knack I always loved trains. And so I have a knack for that. So, and of course, we're very gospel oriented, gospel Billy, and do a lot of churches, but we do a lot of street fairs and
Mhm.
different outdoor venues and clubs when we can. So we're doing really good here in Orange County. We toured a little bit, but kind of sticking close to home. So
Orange
it's more
County.
rockabilly, Carl
Almost
Perkins.
social D.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome.
More like Carl Perkins and uh, Johnny Cash and early Johnny Cash, Elvis Presley, Eddie Cochran, Gene Vincent. All those great rockabilly artists.
Daryl
It's real
Mansfield,
different.
man.
Well, he's more blues. More blues. He's more blues, but yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he is
something
actually
else.
more blues.
Yeah,
I got to see him too,
like the
and he,
Lifters. Lifters are doing rockabilly really good, and they were great. Uh, when the Stray Cats came out, they kind of were doing that thing. But Chris became a real good guitar player. Brian Setzer, of course. So,
uh,
I'm not quite up there. I had to change my style quite a bit. But at this stage of the game, to kind of reinvent yourself, I think is something
you heard
pretty
the
cool.
Coffee Cats? The Coffee
Yes.
Cats?
Yeah, that's more of psychobilly.
Yeah, that's Psychobilly. Yep.
Doesn't
Yeah, I
it? The
did an
upright bass
interview with
player
them.
have his upright look like a coffin or something like that?
Yep.
Yeah. See, that's psychobilly. That's a little different. It's like that's kind of like punk rock with an upright bass, which is cool. Which is
Yeah, they're
cool.
good. Good guys.
Yeah, we just play a little more family friendly, so we get, probably less clubs, but we play these big outdoor venues for different cities like Fullerton and Orange and Tustin and that's pretty cool. We're pretty fortunate at this stage of the game to be doing it. Very
What's
grateful.
not on the list, but what's one of the biggest lessons you've learned being a musician and being through Altar Boys, and what have
I've
you
learned
learned?
I've learned so many lessons. Where do you start? Uh, you got to work hard, set your expectations low, but give it your best and hope for the best. Also, for me as a Christian, you always keep the good Lord in your sights and don't think too highly of yourself. Don't take yourself too seriously.
All right.
If you sign a record deal, make sure you have an attorney look at it. I didn't know I would have, in this day and age of the internet, that I'd always have to be an artist and an influencer at the same time.
That's true.
That's kind of inference. You know, it's just off the top of my head. I'm sure there are bigger lessons
Yeah.
besides that.
Would you like to share your testimony real quick? We have like
Sure,
seven
yeah.
minutes. Want to
Yeah,
share your
no
testimony?
problem. So, basically for me, and growing up, a little bit chaotic for me. My father died when I was very young. My mom raising
Oh,
four
sorry.
kids and trying to make that work. We lived a lot with my grandparents. Everybody did their best, but we got a little lost in the shuffle. Fortunately for me, I found track and field and music and was, I never, by the grace of God, I never got hooked on drugs. I never got hooked on any kind of drinking. I know a lot of people come from that. Fortunately, I was saved from most of it. Uh,
Good. That's
I did,
awesome.
by the grace of God, I wasn't perfect, had other vices, things, but thank God I was never heavily into that. And because that will ruin you long term, no matter what happens. So in the late 1970s, I came to a place I'd heard about Jesus. I've been some friends and people, my cousins had shared, but never made a decision. I decided, you know what? I just need to do this. And I was going to a church called Fullerton Baptist Church, and just decided I need to give my life to the Lord. I think, I'd been through some things. Like I said, I'd got a little lost in the late 70s,
Oh,
and I never turned back. Now, I'm not perfect, but I've been following the Lord the best I can for since early 80. And by the grace of God, I'm still here. And the longer, I think one of the lessons I've learned is the older you get, the more you realize you're a sinner and what it took for God to save you. And that impact and that realization of how deep and awful our sin is and how lost mankind is really starts, you really start understanding it more and more. And I think that in your own sin, and you start judging others less, you start understanding that, you know,
that's what keeps you
God,
humble too, right? As a
yeah, God in
musician.
a subtle voice say, hey, you have no right to judge that or
Yeah.
look at you. You're lucky.
Yeah.
You're right, Lord.
Take the
I, you
speck
know,
out of
I
somebody's eye when you have a log in your own.
exactly. And that,
Yep.
is something you got to use judgment, with things that are right and wrong, of course.
Yep.
But with people, you got to learn to show some grace because you don't know where people have been, you don't know what's going on in their lives, and so I think that's one thing I've been learning. So that's where I've been, and ups and downs. Still been very difficult for me, gone through some difficult things, but by the grace of God, I'm here talking to you and to the everybody out there. And I want to thank everybody,
Yes.
which for their support through the years of not only Altar Boys, Clash of Cymbals, my solo, those that know about Altar Billies. A lot of the Altar Boys fans don't like Altar Billies, and I understand. But
But
you know, this is how it is, all right? I love the Altar
it
Boys.
is. Don't
Always
throw a
will.
fit.
I always will love that band. Jeff, Rick, Steve, Mark, everybody involved with the Altar Boys that helped us out through the years. Chad Ashton, Rob Garayeb, good friend who played in Clash of Cymbals. So many. I will always hold it as a special time in the fact and just trying to embrace what we did.
Hmm.
Such a great little group, and we accomplished so much by the grace of God. All these videos and sharing the good news of Christ, and all these people that came to Christ and did incredible things with their lives. Dan Kimball, who's a great writer, and I keep, I'm going, and I'm going to keep going as long as the Lord lets me. I'm surprised.
Yep.
I didn't think at this age I would still be playing rock and roll, but
Yeah, I'm so proud
here
of
I
you.
am. Here I am.
Yeah,
A little
so
tired of
happy to
lugging
have you
my
here.
my amplifiers around. I'll be honest with that, but I still
Well,
do it. It's like, ah. So,
It's so cool to have you because I'm just trying to, capture some of the bands that got me into, when I was
that
a
is
young
so
Christian, a
awesome.
babe in Christ, and I got Randy Rose gonna be
Oh,
on
they're great
here.
guys. Oh, that's
I got Man at
great.
the World. Got believe it or not, Fluffy Chris Colbart from
Oh, yeah,
Fluffy
yeah. Chris
and
Colbert.
Breakfast
Yeah,
with
yeah,
Amy.
yeah.
He's gonna be on
Yeah,
my
Breakfast
show
with
coming
Amy.
up.
Oh, that's
Exeter's
great.
gonna
Well,
be
tell him
on
I
here.
said hi. Tell him I said hi. I saw him a year ago or so. Yeah, tell him I said hi.
Oh, will.
That's
Yeah, we're
cool.
gonna have Exeter. We're gonna have a bunch of bands coming
Look
up.
at you,
So
man. That is so neat.
yeah,
And be
so
sure
I'm
to look up
stoked.
the Us Kids documentary.
Please, yeah. If you have a link, that'll be even better.
I will
But I will
send it
do
to
my
you.
best to look it up because I
Yeah, I
want to
mean
so bad.
it's
I'm my
happening and it's
biggest
cool.
Michael Knott fan. I love him.
Well,
And
they've covered a
rest in
lot
peace,
of Mike
brother.
Knott, and we did a special tribute to Mike Knott after he passed away down here in Orange County, and had my brother and I played Lifesavers, and we did all Mike Knott songs. A lot of groups, Prayer Chain showed up.
I did die 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 by that song die 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 by Darling what not die where he goes die baby die.
Die baby die, die baby die,
I did
baby
that at
die.
church one time with an acoustic guitar and everybody was just looking at me like what
Oh,
happened.
he had some good songs.
I even yelled
Well,
it. I say just the way he said it. So anyways, we're short on time.
we got less
I
than a
love you,
minute.
brother.
So thank you. Anytime I will send you a link. I have another interview to, but God bless you. God bless everybody out there.
Yep,
Keep on going. Keep up the good fight.
we'll do.
God is great, and God will
Always.
carry us through. All right. Bless and
Thank
keep.
you.
Bye, everybody. Lord bless.
Take care. You too, buddy. Thank you so much, Mike.
You're welcome. A pleasure. Anytime. Anytime.
You too, anytime.
Okay.
Maybe get your
Thank
new
you,
band on
brother.
here.
All right.
Just can't